Hello, world. I'm Chris Pirillo. Welcome to my universe. Hello, world. I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. We're doing it live on YouTube, as we like to do every Friday, because I like being able to talk to you, answer your questions, interact, and we have a chance to do that live on YouTube. The only reason I'm doing it is because you guys say that you want me to do it. We've had over 1,000 likes every time we've done a live feed. Today's live feed was filled with a few difficulties. First, I forgot to turn on the mic, and then I had it overdriven. It is now adjusted, or should be adjusted just fine, theoretically. I can't tell, though, because I'm not monitoring the output or the feed as it's coming through. So I have levels here on this end. I have comments coming in. I have to be my own producer. I'm my own director, talent. I do everything for the live feed. Normally, I don't do things live because different things can happen when things happen live. Like, Wicket! Quit sniffing that bag. Nothing in there for you, buddy. I also have my Jawa juice in an Empire Strikes Back tumbler. Wicket's going to join me on the chair. All right, get up there. Come on. Here, poke your head out. There we go. So, you want to say hello to everybody? Come on. There we go. Say hello to everybody. Wicket is named after the Ewok, because when his hair's longer, he looks like an Ewok. I think he wants some of that Jawa juice. It's not going to happen, buddy. The tumbler I picked up, what was it, a few years ago at a comic shop or something. You could probably get these online. Nice scene from The Empire Strikes Back. And I also posted on my Instagram feed a photo that Diana took of my ear, in which happens to sit a C-3PO earbud. And the joke is, C-3PO? No, but I can hear him. All right, I don't know. That joke gets not as funny as it was the first time I said it or wrote it down on Instagram. I am surrounded with all sorts of stuff here, and my mind is racing, waiting to take your questions. If you have any questions to ask during the live broadcast, thanks again for being here. If you're here live, you may have received the free push notification from our iOS app. It's also available on Android. That's the number one reason to have the Locker Gnome app right now, is because of the push notifications, really. I mean, we have other updates through there, but we'll always let you know when a new YouTube video has been uploaded. We have over 30,000 people who use that app, use the push. Luke or Leia or whatever your name. I was sticking with the Star Wars theme. I don't know. There's just something that I'm just feeling nostalgic, as I usually do on Friday. I feel very nostalgic. And for those of you who heard me say that before, you're just going to have to deal with it. Wicket, either you want up or down. Huh? He's never going to answer me, is he? Do you see any questions coming in from our community, hun?
Let me double check.
Okay. I'm also triple checking on my end. What do you think about Microsoft write-off? I don't know what that question is, really. What do I think about Microsoft write-off? Do you understand that question? That's a difficult part about taking questions live, being your own producer. We got another one. I want to get a Windows tablet such as the Surface Pro or Razer Edge for a Microsoft Windows 8 tablet for games, productivity, or entertainment. Should I get the Edge Pro or the Surface Pro? May come down to budget. I haven't done much research on the Razer or the Edge Pro. I'm happy enough with my Surface Pro. I have no qualms in recommending the Surface Pro to anybody who would want a Windows 8 PC. My review of the Surface Pro said the exact same thing. That feeling has not changed. Very much looking forward to Windows 8.1 on all Windows 8 computers. So I don't have an exact answer for you, but I can tell you, because I don't have the experience with the other product, that the Surface Pro, if you have the money to spend, if that's what you want, or if that's what you think you want, I do not think you would be disappointed if you are familiar enough with the Windows 8 usability paradigm. Keys' Soul says, I already got the Chrome extension. Oh, yes, because we have a Locker Gnome Chrome extension. J1M4M82 says, or asks, how did you get powered by Amazon on your websites? Well, I use Amazon frequently, as you guys have come to know in the various social feeds that I have. In fact, I like sharing cool things that I find on Amazon because I think they're affordable and fun and geeky. And I'm really thinking about changing not just what Locker Gnome is, like, this wouldn't change. The interaction I have with you and the kind of stuff we talk about, geeky stuff. Not just tech, but geek, because I live a geek lifestyle. But changing LockerGnome.com into a place where we're selling geeky products. And I'm kind of gauging interest by sharing some stuff I'm finding on Amazon to see what most of the community wants. And the good news is you guys are getting things through Amazon as I'm sharing them. So that tells me that you like buying geeky things just like I like buying geeky things. I got the Powered by Amazon link by using their A-Store, which is a service that they provide for affiliates or associates. So an example of what an affiliate or associate is, just to explain, this is answering a question. If you go to tagjag.com/Darth Vader, what'll happen is it'll automatically redirect you to an Amazon.com search with my affiliate ID built in. So that's something you could do. Or you could use any keyword. Try tagjag.com/anything. And you will pull up results on Amazon, and I would get the affiliate credit for making that lead. And it doesn't cost you any more money when you go through an affiliate program. So when I did the sponsored videos with Hover, what I did for was where to get minifigs.com, where to get goodcoffee.com, and givemethebacon.com. What I did was I just used the A-Store affiliate builder on Amazon and it built the sites. And it was that simple. It was so easy to do. So if you want to set up your own shopping cart site and just resell products from Amazon, that's the easiest way to do it. And again, I wouldn't have done that if it had not been for the Hover sponsorship. So we're using Hover now for all of our domain name registrations. You can save 10%. It's clean. It's uncluttered. It's a good experience. It's so quick. And you can save 10% by using the coupon code LockerGnome. Brandon Rowe asks, how good is the new Nexus 7? You know, I think it is not just good. I think it is good enough. And what I mean by that is even though the battery is dead, because that's the thing, I'm not the only one to have complained about battery life. Google kind of stretched the truth a bit in terms of its battery life on the Nexus 7. They didn't really lie, but they claim you can get 9 hours of video viewing on the Nexus 7. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But in actual usage, the only way you can get 9 hours of view time on a video on the Nexus 7 is if you turn off Wi-Fi and you turn your brightness down by below 50%, which I guess is kind of practical, but impractical. So it's got a great resolution, sharp screen. I think it is ample. Android needs to continue to be optimized in terms of smoothness. But I think the average user could very well be happy with the Nexus 7 as much as they might be with any other budget tablet. And I would put the Nexus 7 right there in the class of a budget tablet. The software is okay. The hardware is good. The experience is ample. You know, I would say that in terms of what you spend, I think most people are going to be happy with a Nexus 7. And that's really, you know, something people have to decide on if they don't live in one universe or another. You know, if they could live in either Apple's ecosystems or Android's ecosystem or even Amazon's ecosystem, you've made the decision. But if it doesn't matter which ecosystem you live in, I think the Nexus 7 is a compelling purchase. The iPad mini, despite having a not as crisp screen, has a different value than the Nexus 7 does. And it was even said that even the old Nexus 7s, which were, again, okay for a budget tablet, they didn't outsell iPad minis in Japan, much like Google had suggested they did. In fact, iPad minis outsold Nexus 7s 2-1. So pricing's not the only factor that you have to consider when you're considering a tablet. My battery's dead on here, otherwise I'd be demonstrating some experiences that I've had with the Nexus 7. I unboxed it this Monday live on YouTube. We're giving away a Nexus 7 Monday to one of you, thanks to go.tagjag.com/free apps. You can use that. I'm sorry, my bad. That's another one. Go.tagjag.com/free points. There are two different services there. And we're going to be doing regular hardware giveaways every week thanks to that service right there. You okay, baby?
Yeah.
Diana's been with me all the while, so she's been giving me moral support. I've been trying to give her moral support. Hang on. Another sip of Jawa juice. Very good. So we're giving away a Nexus 7 to one of you. To qualify for that, head over to go.tagjag.com/free points on your Android or iOS device. Download the app, which is completely safe. I've been using it for a while. Then download a sponsored app through the app. Post your referral code in a comment in this video, and you'll qualify. Just like we talked about in the live unboxing this past Monday. We've done 2 live streams this week. Kind of neat. All right, let's see here. What other questions do we have coming in? Ed Gray 73 asks, when do you think SSDs will start lowering in price? I think they will eventually, come down in price. But, the day and age when we no longer need hard drives is the day where people will start buying more and more SSDs, and the demand, will increase, which will increase production, which should lower costs. We're not there yet. Hybrid drives are a fine alternative, kind of bringing the best of traditional hard drives as well as SSDs. The speed of an SSD, the capacity of a traditional hard drive. In the next 5 years, certainly. Now, me, personally, I'm SSD all the way. I don't care what the cost is. It's just so much faster. Red Tiger 676. Chris, did you watch the TV show Lost? I did. Towards the end. I did not watch the whole thing. I apologize for that. But who am I apologizing for? I'm sorry. I'm done apologizing. No more apologies. No apologies. Drew Perry asks, thoughts on the Moto X? Drew. And Drew's someone that I noticed. Drew's been commenting on a few of the threads that I've started. I've been sarcastic in some of my status updates this week, like the ones I posted today. I'll read the news in the morning and then kind of feel, pithy. And so I'll respond like this. Let me pull out one of them here. This is some news. The FBI is allegedly trying to get ISPs to install surveillance software. But I added, do they realize that PC users are infected with spyware anyway? That's obviously not true. Not every PC user. It just seems to be that a lot of Windows PC users get infected with spyware easily because they're downloading things that they shouldn't be downloading. And Android apparently is filled with malware, or the potential of malware. And Russia is a huge center of producing Android malware. That's a fact. I'm not slamming Android. I'm just saying this is what happens with an open ecosystem. Chris, I was reading my name here. Bob Mansfield, he was an former executive at Apple, a senior executive. His role has changed at Apple. He's now focusing on chips. Dill, potato, buffalo, cow, and Eric Estrada. That was assumedly. Really. See, I was kind of having fun. I was playing with the headlines. And other news. Find My iPhone is coming to Android, only Google's not calling it Find My iPhone. It's called Android Device Manager, and Google's just making it for Android phones. So if you've always wanted something like Find My iPhone on Android, if you haven't been using third-party services, which I realize many of you have, Google is building that natively. Android Device Manager. I think it was a step in the right direction. Rock Melt has been sold to Yahoo. In other words, something you don't use has been sold to something else you don't use. See, are you catching the sarcasm? Are you catching the funness of the... I like doing that with headlines because, all the other people, they're being serious. Come on, have fun with this stuff. Why don't you want to have fun with this stuff? Mikey Boy 66, is monetizing your videos a good source of income? Depends on which videos, how many you do, what kind, how many people are watching, and if people really genuinely care. And this is one of the reasons why I have been thinking seriously about selling product. I mean, look, I'm wearing a Cobra t-shirt. Cobra. Hello. G.I. Joe? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. And knowing is half the battle. That's what you're supposed to say. When I wear stuff or hold stuff up or use stuff, people genuinely want to know my experiences. And I'm just thinking I need to go the direction, instead of just producing content, why not resell some stuff to geeks? Because I'm a geek anyway, and I love living the geek lifestyle. Why not enable other people? John Wolfman. Oh, hang on. I realized I skipped over the other question, which was a good question, which is why I wanted to ask it. Now I have to scroll down continuously. Sorry. Drew Perry. Thoughts on the Moto X? I'm going to be getting a hold of one next week. I thought I was going to get a hold of one today. It didn't happen. It's interesting. I guess, what's valuable is that you can customize it. It's got a long battery life. I think that's probably its biggest value, but it's not geared towards geeks or us necessarily, but for the average user. And I think it's an interesting approach. I don't know if it's an anything killer. I don't know if it's going to pull people away from getting a Samsung Galaxy S4. Because really, I mean, Samsung's leading the pack as far as Android goes. Google's trying to get its mojo back with something like the Moto X. I cannot pass judgment, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not underwhelmed. I haven't experienced it enough or really thought about it enough to understand why Google did it the way they did. If they're making it affordable, if they're making it a usable experience for the average user, not the geek, I think they're doing the right thing. I really do. But I have to try it for myself to really, ultimately pass judgment. It's just like I said, the Nexus 7 is good or good enough for the average tablet user if they're not locked into one ecosystem or another. Although the benefit of being in Apple's ecosystem is that you can still access Google's applications from Apple's platform, not vice versa. Because Google is a horizontal player, Apple's a vertical player. I talked about that earlier this week. I don't want to belabor the point. By the way, if you do decide to buy anything based on my recommendation, like a Nexus 7 or a Star Wars tumbler or a digital camera, email me first, chris@pirillo.com, because I'll send you the link to where you can get it on Amazon that I get the credit for it, or just go through tagjag.com and we are good to go. Let's see here. Candy Graham asks, Chris, do you watch Doctor Who, and who would you like to be the next Doctor? Thanks. I do not watch Doctor Who, believe it or not. I know I should get into it. I just haven't yet. I know many people want me to, watch more geeky programming. Battlestar Galactica was about the last geeky series that I watched, that I got into. Something that had run on Sci-Fi and was no longer running, but I really got into that series. It was disappointing when that ended. It really was. What are you going to do at 300,000 subs? Asks Franklin Incorporated or Frank Incorporated. I don't know. I will be very happy. We are just 200 shy of 300,000 subs. Here's the thing. I am not going to be like every other tech channel out there. I'm just not. I don't do that, right? I do things the way I like to do things. Setting up to do hardware giveaways. I like doing unboxings. I like doing live feeds. I like posting vlogs. And where does that fit? I don't like being shoved into someone else's hole. Okay, that sounded bad. Don't think of me like you think of every other person out there, because I'm not. I'm not like every other person out there. I'm me. You came to this channel, I'm assuming, because you like something about me. But you got to understand, I do more than just one thing, and I like more than one thing. I like talking about more than one thing. So I know that may stunt channel growth, but I think over the long haul, I will appreciate the connections that I have with the community that does stick around. John Wolfman asks, what was your favorite TV show from the 80s? I really like G.I. Joe. I don't know if does that count as a show, G.I. Joe? I liked sitcoms. Hard to say. It's been so long. It's been over 2 decades ago. 80s are now considered oldies. Oh boy. See, we have any other questions as I scroll through here. I'm just checking out, I'm really looking at the questions that the community has been asking or posting. By the way, in terms of recent news today, the Department of Justice is calling for Apple to grant access to Amazon and Barnes & Noble's e-bookstores from within Apple's platform, basically to eliminate what could be considered anti-competitive practices. I think that's a good thing. I think that could potentially lower prices on ebooks. Apple's not happy about it for semi-obvious reasons. This hasn't happened yet. The DOJ is just encouraging a judge to pass judgment on this. If it does happen, I think we can all win. I think then Barnes & Noble and Amazon could compete on Apple's platforms and allow for lower pricing on the same books that we could purchase on Apple's, the iBook store or iBooks. I think it's smart. I think it's wise, and I would like to see that kind of competition because it lowers pricing. Let Apple sell the hardware, let them sell the ebooks for whatever they want to sell it, and let them compete on price. I wish that we had the same setup with wireless carriers. Why can't I take the same phone and go to another carrier? I can't. It's not as easy to do in the United States, and that sucks. I hate that. All right. New Spicington asks, Chris, I want to get an antivirus for my computer. A friend has recommended I get Spy Sheriff. I've never heard of that, so don't. I've never heard of it. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. I would just be very, very careful. Ignore your friend's advice. I would certainly go to the forums and ask. Super Anti-Spyware was the leader as far as the community was concerned for the longest time. And there were other ones that bubbled up, like, what was the one? It's been so long since I've had to install anything like that. I just rely on Microsoft now because I don't download a lot of programs on Windows PCs. What's the point anymore? Everything I can get on the browser or through an official app store. I don't download things that I shouldn't be downloading. Ultimately, that's your best bet. So just be careful about picking something that you've never heard of. Read the reviews from people that you trust. Check out lockergnome.net. We police that forum or set of forums, if you can call it that, regularly to keep spam out of there. Let's see here. What clock widget do you use on your Nexus 7 to show weather? Asks Ty P. I think it's Beautiful Widgets. It was recommended to me by someone in the community because I want this kind of widget, and I think that was it because I'd shown that, and I would show you right now, but my battery on the Nexus 7 is dead. DanMan21 Minecraft. Should I get the Lumia 521? 521. I don't know. I don't know if you should. You can if you want. Sure. Why not? Let's just go for it. You got to give me more context, people. Context. I don't know how many times I got to tell. I got to beat context through your skulls. Like, give me bam, bam, bam. Context. See here. Where would you buy a new computer screen? Asks Loser Me Up Strickland. Where? Online, most likely, because walking into a store and buying something these days, it's interesting and. I could do that, but it's not always the top of the line product. It's usually mid-range that you can buy in the store. You can usually buy products that better suit your budget and needs online, and so I'm likely to go online. I get most, if not all, of my current products through Amazon.com. Every once in a while, I'll go to a specialty site if they're really known for something and they have good customer service. That's what keeps me going to a site. Not necessarily just what they have to offer, but their customer service is everything to me. Everything. And if you don't think the same thing, you should, because customer service is crucial. Think about the last time that you had a bad customer service experience and how you wish you had a good customer service experience. And then remember this conversation the next time you go to buy a gadget or a device or anything and you have a good or bad experience with customer service. LD Social Studies asks, do you like the Star Trek series? I did not really get into the original series. My dad did. I got into The Next Generation in college. Really liked Deep Space Nine. I liked Voyager. Did not get into Enterprise. In terms of the movies, I did like all the Star Trek movies, at least the idea of them. I mean, kind of got a little weird around 4 and 5. And 5... Was 5 ever stricken from canon? I don't know if it ever was. It was just a really bad movie. But I still can't help but watch it when it's on TV. I have that problem. It's like the first time I ever saw Fargo, I was like, that movie sucked. The heck do you mean? And now every time it's on, I have to watch it. So that's just the hallmark of a good movie. I'm going to hate it first and then watch it again. Except for The Phantom Menace. I still haven't gotten over that. Did you know Jake Lloyd, the kid who played young Anakin Skywalker, the kid from The Phantom Menace, is quit acting? That was the worst experience in his entire life, being in The Phantom Menace. Because kids made fun of him. And it genuinely was not a movie that I think many fans liked. I think we tolerate the prequels because we know they exist. But that's about as far as it goes. As far as my love goes. So there we go. I'm inevitably going to bring everything from Star Trek to Star Wars. I've not seen the new Star Trek movie yet. I'm looking forward to that, though. I've answered some of these questions in the past, so I'm going to answer them briefly. Mr. Nekopan asks, hey, Chris, what do you think about Windows RT? The Pieman 484 asks, what do you think about the Xbox One? I think it's a good entertainment device in terms of a gaming machine. We'll see. We will see. I think the PS4 is going to steal the Xbox's thunder, not just because of pricing, but because of the way that they're engaging the gaming community in a way that I don't know if Microsoft really has, even though today, Major Nelson, who I don't know if he's ever been on YouTube with me, but we used to do podcasts every once in a while together back in the days of the original Xbox and when the Xbox 360 was originally released. He had said, I guess they tweaked the GPU in the latest revision for the Xbox One, so got more power. I don't know if that's going to translate to a better experience, and if most people are going to want to leap to the Xbox One if they are existing Xbox users in general. The Electric B1 asks, do you like that Ultrabooks are more secure than laptops, tablets, and desktops? No. In fact, I would say out of that range, tablets would probably be the most secure because you're likely surfing through some kind of app store that's being policed. Versus, I mean, that not always the case. I mean, there's things that slip through every app store. But it's usually more of a wild west with traditional Ultrabooks, laptops, and desktops. So in terms of security, if you're talking about, the potential of, getting hacked or software corrupting your system, I think there's a greater chance of that happening with Windows these days than any other platforms. That may very well change at some point in the future, though. By the way, as I'm answering these questions, I thought of this, what was it, last week or the week before? It was the week before. It'd be really neat if someone was logging not just the question and who asked it possibly, but also my answer, so we can update the description so that people who aren't watching can at least get a synopsis. That would be really, really nice. I don't know if anybody wants to do that. I don't know if it's a fun job necessarily, but if you do that, maybe I'll put your YouTube link in the video description if you have the compilation of all the questions and answers for a live feed. We'll figure out how to do that. But I want to do something like that. I need your help if you want to do that, if you want to volunteer. It's a good way to possibly get, if I pick yours, that's written well, questions, proper grammar, punctuation. I don't have to do much adjustments. We can go from there. You can get some extra credit from your teacher. I'm your teacher. I don't know what I'm teaching you today, though. Let's see here. Walter NL, thank you for the review op on the MacBook Air. I just bought one. Thanks again. Oh, Walter, you didn't buy it through my Amazon link, did you? I'm going to say that because, look, I helped bring him to the decision of buying it. I could have gotten credit for it. I didn't. But thank you for giving me credit for helping you with the decision. It's just that it makes me sad. It really does. I mean, but just think about that. Think about that. Imagine if you had this value that you just gave. You just, here, take it. And you couldn't get any credit for it. It would eat you up, and it does. But I'm glad, and I hope you are happy with that purchase. We're going to go ahead. Someone asked another question. I don't know why we keep going back to Star Wars. It could be because of the Jawa juice. Someone asked, and I'm sorry, I do not have the credit here. Why did you get into Star Wars? What was it about Star Wars that pulled you in? I don't know. I really don't know. I remember going to see Star Wars with my dad, but not really getting into it. I didn't get into it. I remember, though, the first Star Wars figure I ever purchased. It's right over here. This little guy. An AT-AT driver. Some people call them AT-AT drivers. This guy. My first Star Wars figure ever. I still have him. And he's in good condition. Or at least decent condition. Bought him for 99 cents. And I remember it was an ad in the Sunday paper. Because that's the only time you could see toys in the paper. Anywhere, really. I mean, this is back in the day. And we're talking like, it would have been the 1970s. And, or early 80s. No, at this point, yeah, it would have been early 80s. Because Empire was out. And 99 cents, I was like, oh, let's take a look. I'd like to go there. And I saw this guy in a card, and I thought, he just looks so awesome. I'm like, dude, that guy looks awesome. And then I remember going to see Empire Strikes Back with my family. I remember seeing Star Wars again with my family. The first time I saw it, first run was with my dad. Second time in the theater was with my entire family, because I remember that was I was in the second grade. when that happened. Because I remember we had just learned that day about suicide and how it was a bad thing. I went, it was, I can't even remember the lesson, but I remember it was suicide. And at the end, Han Solo says to Luke Skywalker, sounds more like suicide. And I turned to Mom and I remember saying, that's bad. We learned that was bad. You don't want to commit suicide. That's bad. I remember that. I just don't know. I really don't. But it was just so fantastical. The story was just so magical, and it was fun, and it was cool. I mean, it was just awesome, right? I mean, it was so awesome because we didn't have anything else like that, or I never saw anything like that, and it pulled me in. And I started to collect Star Wars figures. Starting with this guy. You think about that. How old are you right now? And I know we have a lot of young people in our audience, but for the 40-year-olds out there, if you're watching, do you still have your toy, your favorite toy, the thing that just kicked off something that was just magical that followed you throughout life? This guy did. This AT-AT driver. I just thought he looked like a badass. So cool. And I collected all the Star Wars figures. Had them all at one point. Now, unfortunately, they've kind of been scattered about the four winds. I don't know if I'll ever go through and get all the classics again. But I collected them, and I still I just that's why I don't know. I kind of honestly I wish I could do if I had a chance I would do more Lego stuff in this channel, and I would do more Star Wars stuff in this channel. I really would, but I don't know if I could pull it off. I don't know if I would have enough to talk about every week on those topics. Do you have another question here? The Gamer 120295, Apple TV or Roku? Well, now that depends. The Roku TV, if all you want to do is stream video on your TV, that's it. Roku TV is going to be just fine. That being said, if you have any other Apple product, an iPhone, an iPod Touch, an iPad, a MacBook, a Mac, if you have any other Apple product, you'll want to get an Apple TV. For one reason, not just because it's Apple, but because of AirPlay. AirPlay is awesome. With a tap of a button, I can automatically be mirroring something that I'm doing on this screen up onto a larger screen. Right now, Apple has not enabled AirPlay on Mac desktops. As you can see, I have a few things up here. I'm going to close those things out. Email and web browsing. I use Google Chrome for those who are asking, and the MacBook for Mail app for email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror my iPhone screen up onto this big screen using AirPlay. Now, that's not tied to an Apple TV, but imagine I'm just beaming this up onto a TV screen that has Apple TV in it. Let's see here. Am I on Wi-Fi right now? Let me check. Yeah, on Wi-Fi. Go over here. See, okay, now it's making a liar out of me. There should be a little AirPlay icon right here telling me that there are AirPlay devices on my local network. Let me go ahead and toggle Wi-Fi. For those of you who believe that, Apple can do no wrong and it's always perfect, it's obviously wrong. I'm going to reboot the device because I know I have that enabled. God, never do a live demo because this is the kind of thing that happens. So I'm going to demonstrate AirPlay when it comes back up because I think that's really, when it does work, it is amazing, and it usually does work. And to tell you the truth, I think Google's onto the right thing with Chromecast. That's not Miracast, mind you. Chromecast, I can't wait to get my device. I'm going to plug it into my Google TV, which I already have across the home office. I did a review on that a long time ago, or at least a showcase. And I can use Chromecast type services right now from Google Chrome. I can throw a YouTube video from Google Chrome up to my Google TV using the Chromecast extension. That should work with any web page at some point in the near future with the Chromecast dongle. I can do that anyway with AirPlay, so it's not that big of a deal. But those two devices they're swimming in the same field, but they're really designed for similar reasons but different reasons. So that you could even have both and be happy. It just depends on what other devices you have in your house. I'm all about ecosystems, though. I really am. And I think many of you know that as well. We're probably going to be rounding out here real soon, so keep the questions coming in. I'll try to address a few more. Someone just asked if I wanted a Chromecast. I kind of answered that question. I have 3 of them on order. I'm waiting. I'm getting 3. I have more than one HD TV in the house. when did you start collecting Lego minifigs? I don't know. Okay, there we go. I rebooted in the icons there. I started collecting. I liked them as a kid. In fact, I was trying to find the first minifig that I had. It was before they were known as minifigs. I could only find the pants for that. But I started really collecting them as an adult because there were a lot of them to collect, and they were fun, and they just reminded me of my childhood. So there's the AirPlay icon. I'm going to tap the AirPlay icon and then mirror it to one of these AirPlay devices I have. The bedroom Apple TV, the great room Apple TV. I'm going to mirror it to Icebox. This is the Mac. I'm using a software that allows me to use AirPlay on a Mac. Go.tagjag.com/airserver is where you can download a copy, and then I get credit for it, and you can use it as a demo if you want. So here comes AirServer. So there I am. Okay, I've got it, even though I'm swiping this way. What app could I pull up here? So I'm browsing. You can see I'm using this right now. Oh, there's the C3PO earbuds. Let me go to down here. Where's the desktop site? The option for it for Amazon. I use Amazon all the time. Amazon.com full site. So we'll rotate it. You see it's happening live. So I can zoom in. Everything I'm doing on the phone is mirrored on my Mac or any Apple device that basically supports AirPlay. So if I wanted to browse the web, this is how I could do it. Without touching the screen or anything, I could browse the web and do everything that I normally do on the desktop, just sitting back and relaxing. That's why I love it, dude. You can't do that with a Roku TV. You could kind of do that with a Chromecast, kind of. Oh, I just rotated there. But you can't do this with a Chromecast. I can do any app that I have on an iPhone, an iPad, an iPod Touch could be mirrored using AirPlay. So that would include gaming if I wanted to go that route. Let's see if I can find a good game. Bad Piggies, by the way, is free in the App Store this week if you did not already know that. Do I have any interesting, fun little games that I've played in the past? I've got games out the wazoo on here, as you can possibly see in the background. Puzzles, Enigmas, no. Well, yeah, actually, this one was kind of fun. So this is a game that I can play, and it hundreds. It's a fun one. A mouse is. These are all the clues. Okay, main menu, round select, and the idea is that you can you basically complete these levels by touching these dots and completing them to 100% without touching each other. So I can play that game on the small screen, but have it mirrored up onto the big screen, and then of course to turn it off, I just open up AirPlay, turn off mirroring, or just go back to the iPhone, done, and that's it. Just a quick demo. Just thought I'd show you that. Yeah, that's why I like AirPlay. That's why I think it's awesome. All right, I will answer a couple more questions and then wrap it up. Matthew Dunn. Hey, Matthew. Do you ever think we'll reach a point where mobile companies are a thing of the past and everyone everywhere will have free or at least very cheap data plans with no talk and text plans? I think talk and text plans will disappear. I think that's inevitable. I think we'll go completely over data. We will reach a point, though, where it's just going to be a given, where it's just going to be there, right? Like the air we breathe. I think we're still going to pay money, but I don't think it's going to be as exorbitant as it has in the past because there's so many opportunities to get to where you need to be using one provider or another. And in fact, Google is probably going to do the most to encourage that type of ecosystem. Google Fiber is very, very affordable for the speeds. It's just not available in a lot of areas. And unfortunately, because of the way things happen, you have to go through certain companies to get online. I would have amazing internet speeds in this house for a fraction of the cost if I had competition in my area. But unfortunately, I do not have competition, so Comcast gets to do whatever they want, and they decide to charge out the wazoo, and I think are severely overpriced, and unfortunately have... let me put it this way. If there was an alternative, I would look seriously at jumping. I would have no problem in making that leap. I have huge problems with the way Comcast decides to do business. One more question, then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here on a Friday afternoon. Again, to remind everybody, we're doing the Nexus 7 giveaway on Monday. Check out the Nexus 7 unboxing video if you hadn't already for complete details. And hopefully one of you guys will be, well, you'll be there because one of you will be getting it. Just participate. That's all you have to do. And then please pay attention to our plans moving forward. We're going to be doing giveaways. And that, I think, may very well be starting next week with the Nexus 7 giveaway. And we haven't worked out all the details yet, but the idea is we'll figure out how to qualify for the giveaway, I think, by participating, remembering to like, share, comment, participating with our videos and our community. You can qualify, and then we'll have up to $400 to spend on a device, and then you get that device. We'll get it to you. Thanks again to the sponsor, go.tagjag.com/free-points. Link is in this video's description. Electric B1 asks, do you like the Nokia Lumia 1020? I don't know. I don't have it. But I found out yesterday I will be getting one. I will be unboxing the 1020 and posting sample images and video to a few of my social channels as well. So stay tuned for that. It will happen. All right. One more question. X1341 man asks, don't you do more PC stuff? Why don't I do more PC stuff? I just don't have the chance. I don't have the opportunity. If I had, sure, I would. When I have a chance to unbox something and share my experiences, I will do that. But I don't necessarily pursue it. Here's the thing, and I know you guys, you don't believe me when I tell you this. Give me a second. I'm just going to show you. And I know you're going to forget this by the time that you close out this video. I don't want to log into my Google account to use Google Trends. Come on, really? Dang it. Okay, give me a second. I got to log into my damn Google account. Why? All right, let me open Chrome because I have the auto login there. Kind of cheated it a bit. All right. Go over to Google Trends. And search for the word computer. Yay, okay, it worked there. Hot searches. No, we want explore, top charts, search. Dang, they've really mucked with the interface. I'm going over here and I'm tapping. Come on, search. Okay, Google is killing Google Chrome right now. It's not. Boy, I'm just having all sorts of fun with hardware today. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Fine. Jeez and crackers. Okay, go over to Google Trends, search for the word computer. See how it trends downward. That's what I was trying to point out. And I was trying to do it in a way that you could actually see it. Unfortunately, Google Trends inside of Google Chrome did not want to play nicely. We'll try it one more time. There we go. Okay, Trends. No, that wasn't it. I give up. Go search for it. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not doing a lot of it because the market is not really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in you if you're interested in it, but it's generally not the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. Some people are better suited for that. I'm not. Don't know what to tell you. I'm me. And if you like me, thank you. I'm validated by you liking me and the things that I'm trying to do, or that I do on a regular basis. For everybody out there, I'm going to go ahead and, as I said before, wrap it up. Thanks again for all of your support. I really do appreciate it. And, stay tuned to this channel and the rest of the social feeds. Hopefully over the weekend, we will hit 300,000 subscribers. We shall see. Until next time, we'll see you later.